Honorable Chief Minister of Kerala, Sri Pinarayi Vijayan Garu, Honorable Minister for Higher Education and Social Justice, Dr. R. Bindu Garu, Honorable Ministers, Sri M.C. Sudhakar Garu from Karnataka, Honorable Minister from Tamil Nadu, Thiru Govi Chijian Garu, Sri K. Rajan Garu, Sri E.K. Shashidharanji, Sri Ramachandran Garu, Kadanpalli, and Sri P.K. Kunhali Kutti Garu, Sri V.D. Satishanji, and eminent academicians, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, particularly the youngsters who have come from various educational institutions. I bring very warm greetings from the Chief Minister of Telangana, Sri Revanth Reddy Garu, who deeply values this discussion. While he could not be here, he has sent me as a firm advocate for the autonomy of states in shaping their own educational futures. It is often said that education is the foundation of progress. But what happens when, after laying a strong foundation, someone else keeps shifting the ground beneath it? That is what we face today. Decisions about higher education being centralized, leaving states as mere spectators in their own universities. The UGC's new regulations are a classic case of you pay the bill, but you don't get to order the food. States are expected to fund and administer universities. Yet, our role in crucial decisions, from Vice Chancellor appointments to admissions, is being erased. If this continues, soon we may only have the privilege of inaugurating buildings and cutting ribbons, nothing else. Education is as we all aware of, it's in the conquered list. Not a monopoly of the center. Telangana, like many states here, has built a system suited to people, expanding residential schools, setting up a skill university, recruiting teachers. But a one-size-fits-all policy is like forcing everyone to wear the same pair of shoes. Some will trip, some will limp, and no one will walk comfortably. This is not just about Telangana. Every state here understands that without autonomy, we cannot ensure quality education. So let's not just discuss. Let's assert. Because history shows that when states unite with a common cause, the center must listen. With that, allow me to take you through Telangana's approach, what we have built, what we stand to lose, and why a stronger federal structure in education is the only way forward. I request the organizers to permit me to give a small presentation so that we all can understand what exactly is taking place in this, trying to take place through UGC, the regulations 2025. Education role and development, what Dr. Baba Sahib Ambedkar said, be educated, be agitated, be organized, be confident, never give up. These are the 5 principles of our life. The cornerstone for development, we have prioritized education in Telangana. Access, quality, inclusivity, by building Young India integrated residential schools all over the state with world-class facilities and international standards. Under the leadership of our Chief Minister C.A. Reddy Garu, Telangana has initiated progressive education policies, establishing Young India Schools, University, recruitment of teachers in schools, colleges, universities on priority basis, skill development activities and technical courses, digital Telangana education, strengthening higher education infrastructure development. Some results, if you see, it has witnessed a significant rise in enrollment rates across primary, secondary, and higher education levels. The state literacy rate has shown a steady upward trend with marked progress in rural and tribal areas. Concerted efforts to promote girls' education have led to improved gender parity in schools and colleges. Students from welfare residential schools have consistently excelled in good board exams and competitive entrance tests, highlighting the effectiveness of these institutions. GER has increased to 40% due to consistent efforts of Telangana government in the field of education, surpassing the national average of 28.4%. Telangana has witnessed a significant role in enrollment rates across primary, secondary, and higher education levels. The state literacy rate has shown a steady upward trend with marked progress in rural and tribal areas. Concerned efforts to promote girls' education have led to improved gender parity in schools. Like to show the federalism in India. The term union in Article 1 of the Constitution of India signifies that India, that is Bharat, shall be a union of states. Dr. Ambedkar has said that our constitution would be both unitary as well as federal according to the requirements of time and circumstances. He has also said the hallmark of federalism is the allocation of these powers between the center and the constituent units of the Constitution. Our Constitution embodies this principle unmistakably. And cooperative federalism, more efforts on working together, horizontal revolution. The Poonchi Commission on Center-State Relations has recommended the Union should legislate on only those subjects in concurrent list which are absolutely necessary to achieve of uniformity of policy in national interest. The center should respect the autonomy of states in areas like education and health. The principle of subsidiary from the Catholic Church, landmark judgments, also I would like to mention here, the state of Rajasthan versus Union of India. India is a federal state. Keshwananda Bharati versus state of Kerala. Federalism is a basic feature of the Constitution. So the autonomy of states are time and again reminded everywhere and every time. Federalism in India should allow for the accommodation of diversity by giving autonomy to states to govern their own affairs, preserve their culture and ethos, address their unique needs and concerns. And here the cause for concern, encroachment of Government of India, like, by bringing out a draft UGC minimum qualification for appointment and promotions of the teachers and academic staff in universities and colleges, and measures for the maintenance of standards in higher education regulation 2025. These regulations, like, what all that our education minister and our chief minister has mentioned, Kerala, Honorable Chief Minister has mentioned till now, these are the issues which are all very, very, very concerned. Like UGC public notices regarding grading of higher education institutions based on implementation of national education policy. These are the areas where, we are all seriously worried. Altered constitution of search committees for appointment of Vice Chancellor, obliterating state role, like eligibility criteria for appointment of Vice Chancellor, adoption of common university entrance test for UG and PG admissions. This is also very concerned subject. Grading based on minimum enrollment of 3,000 students in the current academic session in each, college, which is highly impossible if you go to any rural areas. Grading based on enrollment of international students. See, by keeping these conditions for UGC giving the grading to the colleges and universities, which are highly implementable in the states. Penal provisions for non-implementation of the new draft guidelines. If you don't implement, they want to, punish the universities. So these are the areas where we are all very concerned about the states' rights, like appointment of Vice Chancellor. Universities are primarily funded by state resources. Education is a subject in current list of the Constitution. Earlier in the 2018 regulations, members were nominee of UGC, nominee by EC of the university, one state government representative. These are the actual earlier conditions. But now, if you see the UGC draft regulations, they have totally changed and they have taken into the hands of the center. The new regulations have removed the old state representative, nominee of the chancellor, nominee of chairman executive council of the universities, nominee of executive council of the universities, totally removing the state's role in VC's selection. When there is no role for the entire state, when you are, appointing Vice Chancellor, by giving all the powers to the Chancellor and Executive Council, and these things are totally making the states as totally handicapped, where you don't have any role. This is where we are all concerned. And earlier, the Vice Chancellor's term, what our previous speakers mentioned very clearly about the term of the Vice Chancellor is to be 3 years. Now, with a 10 years of experience as professor, which is very valid and respectable condition. But now the guidelines, if you see, the term of Vice Chancellor has been enhanced to 5 years. Eligibility criteria has been expanded to 10 years. Experience in academic institutions, industry, public administration, PSCs. That means to whomever you want, you can appoint, even without having any, professorship, academic seniority also. To whomever I like from any industry, to whomever I like from any organization, I can get him on the name of these institutions, industry, public administration, and appoint him as the Vice Chancellor of the university and the whole university runs as per the whims and fancies of that Vice Chancellor. So that's where we are totally losing the values of the respective states and culture also. So undermining this kind of appointment is totally, we feel from Telangana, it is totally undermining the federal principles of the Constitution, divesting the states of its autonomy, subverting the role of the state in a subject on the concurrent list of the Constitution. And see, the common entrance test is a minimum requirement for most public and private job opportunities. See, most of the jobs in this country, it requires minimum of undergraduation course. So now the current condition, the rules what UGC is trying to impose is conduct a entrance test. See, every for undergraduation also. So whereas state like Telangana, we are already having a kind of a system like DOST, which is Degree Online Services Telangana. In Telangana, state ensures merit-based and social justice compliant admissions. In the sense, whoever completes their intermediate education, basing on their merit marks, their priority is approach and accessibility is given to all the degree colleges. So it is totally on the merit only. But whereas here it is asking again to go for a common entrance test. You can't expect the rural background students to go for a coaching for a common degree course to get into any undergraduate course. This is, putting a lot of pressure on the students by spending a lot of money. Unaffordable families will have a serious trouble. This is not at all, advisable. This is what Telangana is feeling. Grading based on minimum enrollment, there are about 4.21 lakh vacant seats in engineering college alone, representing 33% of sanctioned seats in the country. So as it is, colleges like technical education, like engineering college, where all the government of India has sanctioned the seats, in those seats itself, nearly about 4.21 lakh vacant seats are lying. So when the seats are lying vacant in engineering colleges, what is the need for you to put pressure on common entrance test for undergraduate courses where the seats are so many available? The average number of students per higher education institute in India, as per data from Brookings report, is around 690 students only, as compared to China. That's a different case, but it's not other countries and the India. So when you have an average students of higher education institute 690, suddenly if you insist to have minimum of 3,000 students, is meaningless. Your average is 690 and you want to impose to have a minimum of 3,000 students in an institution, which is humanly impossible. For example, if you go to rural areas, the underprivileged students will be there. In those areas also, you will be forced to open a degree college. And it is possible, if at all, if you want to have only an institution which is compulsory to have 3,000 students, it is possible, might be, highly urbanized cities like, Delhi, Bombay, something like that. But how about other areas where you don't have a good number of students, like 3,000 students in one institution? You don't want to give the grading. In the process, you lose the, proper value for the college itself. So the students who are studying in rural areas will lose their grading for their institution, which is also highly objectionable. This is what we feel. Majority of higher education institutions be deprived of good ranking and funding. Institutions serving backward areas, underprivileged sections of society will be deprived of ranking and hence funding also. This source, the UGC doesn't want to fund the underprivileged areas and backward areas and rural areas, which is not correct. India lives in the villages and rural areas. This one has to understand. This provision also favors large corporate and private institutions only. So this condition, we feel strongly only to suit to the corporate colleges and highly private institutions only. It is in a way discouraging the government colleges and all that. In the process, it is making an education a big business center. So it is attracting international students. This is also one of the a serious area where we all have to think about it seriously. There is a need to increase GER in the country with the national average being just 28.4%, and several students from deprived socioeconomic backgrounds still unable to access higher education. There is an immediate need to focus on the state and country's requirement of increasing GRA rather than attracting international students. If you don't attract the international students, you lose the grading. When your own students are not having sufficient number to study and the centers, so you are focusing of inviting the international students and asking them to fill it with them certain percentage. If you don't do that, you lose the grading. Colleges established with the social and welfare objective of catering to rural and tribal areas, of providing equity and access to education with limited resources cannot focus on attracting international students. So by keeping this condition, you are forcing the governments of various respective states to cut short your colleges, which is based on social and welfare objectives, which is not correct. The provision only unfairly favors the large corporate and private institutions. And one more condition they are trying to keep is biannual examinations. Conduct biannual examination calls for expansion of infrastructure, recruitment of additional faculty. For implementation of biannual examination, state requires allocation of considerable financial resources. The UGC should engage in a dialogue with the state to formulate guidelines, share resources, both financial and infrastructural, for a mutually acceptable line of action that benefits students at large. While putting these conditions, the UGC, like biannual exams, what is the need now? The final exams are fine. And again, you are asking to conduct the biannual exams, and you are putting the pressure on the state governments to spend a lot of money, while conducting the exams and all that. So while keeping these conditions, we strongly ask the UGC to have a proper dialogue with these states while keeping these conditions. Penal provisions. If any HCI violates the provisions of these regulations, debarred from participating in UGC schemes. What are the conditions that they have mentioned? If you don't follow them, they debarred participating in UGC schemes, debarred from offering degree programs, debarred from offering ODL and online mode programs, removed from the list of higher educations maintained under Section 2F and 12B of UGC Act 1956. HCI shall be subject to one or more of the above actions. UGC may take additional punitive actions as per the decision of the Commission on a case-to-case basis. So if these things happens, what is the position of the state government universities? When everything gets into their hands and they're keeping those conditions which we are unable to implement, and finally they want to punish all these state government universities by way of helping the private and corporate colleges and privatization of education. This is what is behind that. What is the way forward? Cooperative federalism, guiding principles of the constituency, we all have to think about it seriously to go forward. Consultation of states in education matters compulsory and legitimate being a part of the concrete list. Minimum financial support cannot be the base of usurping state autonomy. States have more stakes in higher education institutions and need liberty and freedom in their governance. 2023 guidelines that have removed state role in establishment deemed universities off-campus centers. So we, the states of India, need to come together by keeping all these things in our discussion. Need to come together to operationalize the true spirit of federalism. Yeah. I propose and welcome on behalf of the state of Telangana, and before proposing and welcoming, I really appreciate for the initiation taken by the Karnataka government for conducting the first meeting and then carrying the torch to Kerala. And I once again appreciate the Kerala government under the leadership of General Vijayanji of conducting this kind of conclave for fighting for the spirit of federalism. So, ladies and gentlemen, we began this conversation with the question, who should shape the future of higher education? Those who govern it, those who fund it, or those who are far removed from its realities? After all our discussions, I believe the answer is clearer than ever. States are not just administrative units. They are the life, blood of the nation's progress. Each of us here knows the pulse of our students, the aspirations of our youth, and the unique challenges we must overcome. Education cannot be run through a remote control from Delhi. It must be nurtured where it is needed, with policies shaped by those closest to the ground. If the culture truly believes in cooperative federalism, if the center truly believes in cooperative federalism, then cooperation must mean consultation, not coercion. We are not asking for favors. We are asserting our rightful role. And history has shown us that when state stands firm, when we speak in one voice, the echoes reach far and wide. I leave you with this thought: education is meant to open minds, not close doors. And today, we must ensure that the doors of autonomy and self-governance remain open, not just for us, but for generations to come. With this, we, the states of India, need to come together to operationalize the true spirit of federalism. I propose the next meeting. We should not stop here. And in fact, while coming here, my Chief Minister made it very clearly and told me to request the participants who are all here to make a request from his side on behalf of the state of Telangana. Let's have a next conclave in Hyderabad. You extend a welcome from his side. This is what I'm trying to communicate it, and I'm requesting all the ministers and the Chief Minister to make sure that you find some time, take out some time to come to Hyderabad and address such a serious issue. And also we are trying to involve not only the ministers and the chief ministers. Once the deliberations are over, so what next? I think that we have to take it to the government of India and making and bringing by representation, by placing all our demands in front of them to change as per the requirements of the states, for which we thought that let's involve even member of parliaments also. So in the next meeting, we wanted to make it very clear, along with the ministers concerned, we would like to extend all our invitation to the respective member of parliaments also to the conclave, so that as and when they are there in the parliament, they can raise or represent our voice there in the parliament and represent the government. So in our next meeting in Telangana, along with all the ministers and chief ministers, the MPs also will be participating. So I propose and welcome the state of Telangana to host the next meeting in Hyderabad to formulate the action plan on behalf of these states. And by concluding, I would like to tell you one word, simple word, to make every democratic lovers to understand the hallmark of Indian democracy is diversity. The hallmark of Indian democracy, the unity, is in diversity. This fundamental feature cannot be undermined. We don't choose the right path, we have a stark choice. So with this, I thank all the participants and the Chief Minister of Kerala and the Education Minister for giving me this opportunity for making our views in front of you. I thank all the academicians, intellectuals, youngsters, professors, and all of you. Thank you once again.